Welcome back to the show, my friends and family. I'm super thankful to be here in this place where I became a born-again Gnostic over a decade ago. And today, I've got a more delightful and benevolent subject for you. The evolution of sugar-free. Come back in, my friends, to the show that never ends. Step inside, step inside. Come on in, the show's about to start. Guaranteed to tear a hole in your fake-ass worldview and throw Satan's thoughts out of your heart. Come on, see my show. This is rock and roll. No sugar tonight in my coffee. No sugar tonight in my tea. No sugar to stand beside me. No sugar to run with me. Na 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 na. 'Cause it's the new Mother Nature that's gonna whip the new world's ass real quickly. It's the new splendid lady that will never fall. 'Cause it's the new Mother Nature, the only spirit that can rule us all, is 100% respectful. No sugar tonight in my coffee. The evolution of sugar-free. Well, this is one small step for womankind that went the right direction, and it demonstrates exactly what can happen when womankind prioritizes respect and health above deception, okay? Another subtitle for this could be anti-life sweetness versus healthy sweets, right? So what do I mean by that? First, we have to ask, what is sugar? And, where did it come from? And many people believe, I think to some degree erroneously, that the human body or flesh suit needs sugar. And the brain does need some amount of carbohydrates to function. And the intestines for most of us, needs carbohydrates to make a healthy stool, which is why I'm not a ketogenic person, besides having tiny amounts of cancer still to get rid of there. What is sugar? We have sweetness in nature, fruits and carbohydrates. Sugars occur naturally, right? But the reason why I asked this question, because of a funny comment. I think her name is Mary Ritchie, an Australian child psychic consultant. I'm going to have to take off my diabetic socks now because it's just too sweaty to make this video here without having bare feet. I gotta do my earthing while I do this. So, I think her name's Mary Ritchie. She said that this child psychic told her that sugar was imported here by some dark ETs that sugar is unnatural to Earth and was brought here to enslave us, basically. Think about how addicting it actually is. Think about how mentally addicting sugar is and how it easily causes all the parasites and gut worms as well as inflammation. It's a very interesting concept to consider that might be accurate, right? So, because I've experimented with, having almost no sugar, very little. As we now know, all physical disease is usually grown in a culture dish in the flesh suit of inflammation. And what is the number one thing that causes inflammation in the human vessel? Of course, sugar. What causes the most extreme acidity? Besides, you're binging on carbs, which I might still have to work out of my habits. What is the biggest culprit in that? If I had prepared those potatoes myself and wasn't consuming them in the form of chips, would I have eaten that as much of a quantity? You see, it's the sugar of the process. Sometimes just the process itself can cause foods that are not harmful by the cooking process to become harmful. But the biggest culprit, of course, is sugar cane. The plant, processed white sugar cane. Dr. David Perlmutter's book, The Grain Brain, really will completely change your mind on this if you don't agree with me here. If you read it, he puts statistics in there that prove that most every mental illness and cancer is caused by inflammation in the brain due to excess sugar in the diet. The Grain Brain has statistics to prove that sugar is not essential. In fact, instead it is a grave risk factor for inflammatory process leading to disease, cancers, and death. And I would venture to say it causes a lot of brain damage. It causes people to be mentally retarded. But the majority of MDs, medical doctors, allopathy, and the FDA are not at all like Dr. David Perlmutter, unfortunately. What does food sovereignty have to do with disclosure? Everything. In about the next 2 or 3 years, if you folks haven't figured it out yet, all the things I talk about are related because everything's connected here. So these agencies were created by alien slave masters covertly, okay? The regulatory agencies, I'll say it again, they've had massive, systematic, if the dark ones didn't create them, then, we've had system hijack. Okay. So, agency capture. So you have to understand it's not a joke. These regulatory agencies, again, after they made deals known as the MJ-12, the creation of the CIA, the whole thing, the invention, the creation of the CDC was, I believe, it was a month after the Operation Paperclip. Nazi scientists were brought in to the USA to create modern psychiatry. They created the whole thing through these agency captures, okay, created by alien slave masters, covert, and their gray little sterile slaves covertly are taken over by them through bribery, through the amazing technology which I'm using right now. See my video, Fast Rude, for more on this subject, on how the first Disgusting Humans 2.0 was simply, creating, like in the USA in particular, the massive, we still see a resurgence, particularly of older people who are massively obese due to all the chemicals and poisons that they consumed. Look at Dr. Drew's confusion. I'm about to go enjoy his show, but, am I allowed to say my piece on there and chat in the chat room because he toes the line of bullshit that the vaccine is good? Or willful ignorance because the other Dr. Kelly Victory and his wife are adamant about having people on there to tell the truth? These compartmentalized systems were designed for maximum profits and control. It's funny to me, my cousin who has the Dr. Drew is the Virgo, California has the sun sign Virgo, my cousin has the Virgo rising, and he told me one time, you just need to compartmentalize. And after my near-death traffic accident, I realized it's the opposite. I need to universalize. I need to serve all beings. That's where the law of one is accurate. Or even the Course in Miracles, it says to have all, give all to all. I'm serving the oneness. I'm not saying that everything in these channelings was evil, but unfortunately they were not created with pure intention enough to be free of what they themselves call distortion. So when you know that these compartmentalized systems were designed for maximum profits, that's the intention. As I've said, after reading all of Castaneda's books, I always think about how he always stressed, what is the intention? You have to look at what is the intention behind the deeds that people do. Kill 'em and bill 'em. It's always been the motive of these beings. And if you can't see that it's kill 'em and bill 'em by now, when it's 2023 supposed years after the Master Yeshua was born, then when will you ever see that? When will you ever be able to know it? If you can't see it now, okay. Now during this evil ET hybridization attempt of everyone, eventually, process which eventually, I would say, devolved into the sick-ass idea of Humans 2.0, cyborg slave program. In the last century, okay, the majority of humans so tragically have accepted many, many extremely toxic, cancerous formulations, which of course had, if you look at the intent and the actual results, had nothing to serve the real life within them, their divine being within, the major mother, father, Christos. It had nothing to serve their inner soul. What did it serve? Mammon. What did it serve? The demiurge. What did it serve? Lucifer. What did it serve? Evil, disrespectful ETs and their billionaire slaves. Okay? It had nothing to serve the real life within them and everything to do with soul and energy harvesting, loose feeding, denial, and control, and keeping it as planet slavery. Okay? That's what it's about. We had the spreading of margarine, the idea that margarine is a healthy thing. No humans would have ever come up with this sick idea. Just like no humans would have thought of mRNA spike injections. Humans aren't that sickly, evil, and controlling, but their masters are. So, big farm, black magic, and all kinds of toxic chemicals added to the foods. And we have the FDA saying stuff like Paw Diarco or Esiac or Laetrile or having apricot seed extract is really harmful. I wonder why all those people that were healing hundreds of cancers with those things had to move to Mexico City. Well, it's 2023. I can tell you now. You want to know where the funding, you want to know where this war began on this massive scale? Right here in USA, when these agency captures happened over 100 years ago through, again, bribery, giving these massively amazing advanced technology gadgets, big pharma, black magic, and all kinds of toxic chemicals added to food, which we're now, if we're not eating organic, we're mostly GMOs, okay, served in trans fats. This is what the average person eats if they don't follow it, what they're doing. Add heaping amounts of sugar in massive quantities to that, and what do you get? Death in a short while, prognosis, obesity, cancer, all of the horrible illnesses, the chance for dying of illnesses going way up. And what happens if you take all your boosters? What happens then? Now, you added to this evil ET witch's cauldron, witch's literal cauldron of poisons for humanity's open suppression, was added aspartame, okay? NutraSweet and Splenda. Okay? Aspartame is extremely toxic neurotoxin that's very, very addictive. And it doesn't go anywhere. Fortunately, around the time of my birth, we had the Back to the Land and intentional communities and the organic farming movement and organic farming and non-GMO certifications, the organic food and plant medicine movements, and now in California, the relegalization of not only cannabis for everyone over 21, but psilocybin is decriminalized. Okay, we're in the front lines of the battle over consciousness. The antidotes to the anti-life takeover plans right here. If you enjoyed this, Click the notification bell for more. Click on subscribe. Follow me on Odyssey for a deeper red pill. And let's make this a better world and watch the next one because I got a little more. Peace. Love you.